So tell me, does this ring any bells for you? You're smashing it, you're in flow, and then your brain slinks in like a shady party crasher whispering, any minute now, they'll figure you out. Sound familiar? Well, welcome to the party, my friend. Thank you for joining me at Little Moo's Big Careers podcast. I'm Caroline Esterson, career strategist and sticker of brilliant people, and your co-pilot through the chaos of real-world careers. And this podcast, well, it's for you if you've ever done everything right and still feel stuck, overlooked, or like you were shouting into a Teams call on mute. Welcome to episode 6. And in this episode, we will name the fraud thoughts, unpack the funky feelings, and figure out how to move anyway, gremlins and all. This isn't a pep talk, it's a practical guide with a glint in its eye. Smart moves, slight chaos. Welcome to Little Moo's Big Careers. You know what I've noticed? Confidence is often sold like it's a birthright. Like some people just are confident and the rest of us are left Googling how to fake it without crying in the loo. But here's the truth. Most people who look really confident to you, honestly, they didn't feel confident at the time. They just acted curious and moved before the panic set in. And this was echoed with many of the people I interviewed in my research. Despite being fabulously successful, they still feel imposter syndrome at times. It never goes away. Whether you're just starting out or the CEO, confidence isn't a precondition. It's a side effect of trying things, freaking out a bit, surviving and realizing you actually didn't die. The people you see as naturally confident, they've just had more reps. They've learned how to manage those wobbles, style out the nerves, and keep going anyway. And that's what we're going to explore today, how to build those same coping mechanisms on purpose. Discomfort isn't a red flag. It's a neon sign that says, hey, 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 you're stretching. And if your inner critic's getting louder, you're probably actually on the right track. So, time for a game we like to call a Gremlin Translator.
Now, welcome to the chaos. It's game time.
0 prizes, mild embarrassment, but hopefully excellent fun.
Okay then, Wendy, are you going to hit us with some inner critic nonsense? And I'll tell you what it really means.
Okie dokie, I'm up for being that inner critic bit of nonsense.
for
You've called me
it.
worse.
Never, surely not.
You're a fraud. Everyone's going to find out.
Oh, that really is a classic. How often do we all think that? But the translation is that actually you care and this matters. You might be operating a bit outside your comfort zone, but that's exactly where the growth happens.
You're not qualified.
And the translation here is that actually it's just that you're doing something new. Welcome to the stretch zone.
People like you don't do stuff like this.
Oh, that's interesting. You're just breaking a pattern. And that's brave. And also absolutely rubbish. There's nobody like you. People like you. Pooh.
If you were really good at this, it wouldn't feel so hard.
Oh, isn't that just like a classic shame spiral? You, my friend, are pushing into new territory. Growth is effortful. And guess what? Things worth doing are rarely easy. Unless, of course, we're talking microwave meals and blaming IT.
You shouldn't need help with this.
Ah, the classic Lone Ranger gremlin. You've been conditioned to think that competence means silence. But the real pros, they just ask better questions. Support is not a weakness, it's a strategy. And also, why suffer alone when you can do it in Teams chat? So if your gremlin's talking to you, you can see, can't you? Actually, it's good news. It means you're doing something that it hasn't seen before. That's all. It's not failure. It's your new frontier.
Time for brain food, the research bit. But make it cheeky.
Because we all love evidence, especially when it supports our own experiences.
So let's talk about imposter syndrome. Not as a mindset issue, but as an evolutionary masterpiece. You weren't wired to walk into a room thinking, whoa, I've got this. You were wired to walk into a cave thinking, is this safe? Am I welcome? Will I die here? Because back in the day, being a little bit anxious, a little bit unsure, and a bit on edge actually kept you alive. The humans who second guessed themselves, they didn't eat the shiny red poisonous berries. The ones who asked they like me stayed in the tribe and didn't get left behind with the wolves. And the ones who obsessed over status, standing, and what others might think, well, they actually secured the best spots by the fire. So if you've ever felt like you don't belong, like you're faking it, or like everyone else is more qualified, it's not weakness, it's ancestral Wi-Fi. You know what? You're not in the caves anymore. You're in a meeting. You're pitching, presenting, showing up in a world where confidence counts more than caution. And while your brain is trying to protect you, instead, it might just be holding you back. So today, we're not going to fight imposter syndrome. We're going to understand it, respect the roots, and then rewire your response. Because you've evolved. Now it's time to act like it. Imposter syndrome isn't just self-doubt, it's survival wiring pretending to be a performance issue. Humans are hardwired to prioritise threat over opportunity. It's all part of our evolutionary survival kit. Psychologists call this negativity bias, the tendency to focus on what's wrong, risky, or not good enough. It once kept us from being eaten, but today it often just stops us applying for the job. And to make things even more interesting, Dr. Anders Hansen gives us a visual gut punch in his book, The Attention Fix. I want you to imagine 10,000 dots. Each dot represents a generation of humans. According to Hansen, only the last 8 dots have known electricity and cars. 3 dots have lived with computers. And just 1 single dot has had smartphones, emails, and Slack notifications. Our brains have evolved over millennia for hunting, gathering, and tribal dynamics, not for corporate ladders and meeting invites. We're trying to do modern life with prehistoric wiring. So, of course, we scan for danger. Of course, we assume we're not enough. That feeling isn't personal, it's just prehistoric. And now we know that, we can start working with our brains instead of against them. That's the real key to taking back control. Oh, and listen up. This is really important. Imposter syndrome spikes when you're doing something right, when you've grown, when you've already earned your seat, when the old story doesn't quite fit anymore and your brain's freaking out about the new one. You don't get rid of imposter syndrome, but you can build the muscle to move through it. As Brené Brown points out, she's the queen of courage and patron saint of vulnerability. You can't engineer resilience in the moment of crisis. You have to build it beforehand. She talks about taking small, deliberate risks, practicing discomfort around our normal times, choosing situations that stretch you just enough, because that's how you build what she calls your resilience gym. That's how you take the sting out of imposter syndrome, by deliberately stepping into the stretch zone and proving to yourself again and again and again, if necessary, that you can handle it. And each time you do, you start to kind of quiet that voice in your head. You start to shrink the panic and you grow the kind of confidence that's earned, not faked. Because coping beats confidence every time. And resilience is what lets you keep moving, even when your brain says, "Who let you in?" Good question. You're not the only one asking it. So let's go into this week's listener dilemma, because it turns out everyone's trying to figure out how to sound confident without Googling acronyms under the table.
It's time for What Would Caro Do? Like a career agony aunt, but with less cardigan and more fire.
Because sometimes you don't need permission, you just need better advice. So this week's letter came in hot, hot, hot. It's from Promoted, but maybe still pretending, from Pontypridd.
Dear Auntie Caro, I've just been promoted, but I feel like I'm pretending. I don't feel confident in front of senior people, and I'm constantly worrying they'll realise I'm not as smart as they thought. Help me, please.
My friend, let me tell you something. No one gets promoted because they're perfect. They get promoted because someone saw potential, and now it's time for you to see it too. You don't need to feel confident, you need to act curious, and here's the real flex. Most people are really winging it. The difference is the ones who keep showing up, keep learning, and keep trying, they stop waiting for permission to belong. They just get on with it anyway. I once coached this brilliant young guy. He was sharp, thoughtful, and quietly exceptional, actually. His boss was seriously impressed, but he just didn't see it. Every day he'd spiral, questioning everything, panicking, certain he was failing. It got so bad he actually nearly quit until one day his boss pulled him aside, not to scold him, but to thank him. She told him, "You're in a team that's steady. They're good, but they're comfortable to the point of stagnation. And then you came in asking all these innocent little questions, and suddenly people started thinking again." So what he saw as doubt, she actually saw as leadership. What he thought made him a burden actually made him the catalyst for change. She looked him dead in the eye and said, "Don't stop asking questions. You're stretching us all." And that conversation changed everything. He stayed and he led, not by pretending to know all the answers, but by having the courage to keep asking. So here's the question. What if the thing that you're overthinking is the thing that they actually value most? What question have you been holding back because you're worried it sounded naive? And it might actually be the spark your team's been waiting for. Think on that. So let's explore 3 more ways to tackle those annoying gremlins with our quick fire career moves.
Small shifts, sharp impact. These are quick fire career moves, real things you can do before your next coffee refill.
Okay, so let's turn those funky feelings into forward motion. Right, if your gremlin's on the mic and your brain's doing the cha-cha slide of self-doubt, here are a few little bold moves to keep you grounded. Number 1, say it out loud. Imposter syndrome feeds on silence. The moment you name it, even if it's to your dog, it starts losing power. Your job is to interpret the pattern. Say it, laugh at it, shrink it. And yeah, talking to the dogs count. They're elite listeners. I talk to mine every day. They cock their heads, roll over on their sides for a tummy rub, and then nudge me for treats. They don't solve my problems. I'm not pretending they do. But for me, they just let me get it out of my head. And that's often all it takes. Number 2, revisit your receipts. You have collateral, experiences that are already in the bag. Take time to count these up. That win you brushed off, the thank you email you forgot to print. Start a brag folder, or as we call it, a happy file. It's kept on our desktops. We share these things monthly to remind us of those we actually did it moments. You know, your imposter thoughts don't stand a chance against that hard proof of evidence. Pull it out when the gremlin gets noisy. You've earned those receipts. Number 3, move with the fear. Stop waiting to feel ready. Know that confidence comes after the action, not before. So stretch yourself a little, then again and again. You remember us talking about Brené Brown earlier? This is her principle in action. That tiny wobble, that's growth in motion. Your gremlin's volume goes down the more you move forward anyway. So, now onto my favourite cringeworthy moment. This podcast is so cathartic for me. It allows me to put all my moments out there and clear them from my head.
This quote has the right vibe and the completely wrong advice.
So let's fix that before someone puts it on a mug.
So it's time for career quote crime, and I have 2 gems for you this week. I just couldn't decide. First up, we have
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
cool slogan, useless advice. We're not here to feel the fear. We're here to work with it, to name it, understand it, strategize around it, and still do the thing, because fear isn't the enemy. Paralysis is. And the next one I've got for you is really personal. I'll tell you why after I've laid myself bare and shared it with you. You ready for a blooper?
Fake it till you make it.
Sounds really cute, doesn't it? Like something you'd see stitched on a decorative cushion in a networking brunch cafe. But here's the thing, it's a trap, a stylish, confidence-themed trap. Because when you tell yourself you're faking it, your brain hears, I don't belong here. You're not faking it, you're learning. You're not a fraud. You're just not quite fluent yet. It's a big difference. So this is a personal story I like to call the Dunhill Cardy Chronicles. When Billy and I were in our early 20s, we went to see Tony Robbins, not just to see him. There was also firewalking involved because, well, obviously you do, don't you? Now, I've done several of his programs since and I've learned a ton from him. But on this occasion, fresh off the coal walk and high on fumes of ambition, we took his fake it until you make it mantra very literally. Billy, who normally wore supermarket shirts from Tesco's or Sainsbury's, it's a little bit fuzzy, was suddenly in Bloomingdale's buying a £400 Dunhill cardigan. And that was the cost 25 years ago. I dread to think how much it would cost now. Black, zip up, very snazzy, genuinely stunning. He looked like the kind of man who ran an international hedge fund and meditated. The problem was he never wore it. To this day, it's still hanging in the wardrobe. Tags on, dust gently collecting like the remains of an extinct version of himself that we were trying to summon. So if anyone wants a Dunhill Cardy size L for a mere, should we say, tenner plus postage, give me a shout. I'll grab a photo of me in it and pop it on social so you can see this stunning museum piece. So here's the thing, you don't need to spend £400 on a cardy to prove you belong. You don't need to fake anything. You're not an imposter, you're work in progress. We're all work in progress. And progress, my friend, is a look that always fits. So let's close down this episode with a few words of encouragement. You're not a fraud. You're just growing. That voice in your head, it's scared because you're evolving and evolution is messy. But mess is where the magic lives. So take the step. Say the thing. Be seen. Your seat at the table isn't a fluke. It's a fact. And the only thing you're faking is how chill you look doing it. Until next time. So that's a wrap on this episode of Little Moves, Big Careers, where progress isn't perfect, but it is happening. If your brain's buzzing and you want more magic like this, head to inspireyourgenius.com/podcast for the show notes, cheeky extras, and the kind of tools your career's been crying out for. Share it, steal it with pride, start a movement. So if you did enjoy this episode, please subscribe, share, and send me your dilemmas for what would Caro do and any ideas that you've tried to Caroline@inspireyourgenius.com. And if you want to bring fresh thinking into your team or company, that's literally what we do. Drop us a line, we'll make it sing for you. Until next time, make the move. Even if it's tiny, especially if it's tiny.